Welcome, everyone, to Every Woman Empowered's Chit Chat. I am your host, Shauna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And today we have with us Neela Janu, who is a certified laughing yoga instructor, and our happiness ambassador at Every Woman Empowered. We have Jani Galarno, who is an international artist, and with us our special guest, hairstylist to the north, Will Chicksi. So welcome, everyone.
Hey guys, how's it going?
So Will is quite a well-known hairstylist here in Canada. He actually resides here in Edmonton, as well as he will tell you a story about how he also works up in the Northwest Territories, being a hairstylist up there. So I just want to welcome everybody today, and I want to let our viewers know that this is not our normal hairdos. No, it's not a flashback to the 80s. We love Neela's little background there. So this is just showing what happens when you are kept inside the house and you have nothing else. That you can't go to your hairstylist, you can't do anything, and this is what happens. It's not a pretty sight. So, ladies, I know you got a lot of questions for Will. Who wants to go first? Neela, you want to give Will some questions?
Well, first, I gotta say, like, anybody that's feeling like this quarantine's going too long, it's gonna last forever, like, we're not gonna make it through this. Look at how many people survive the 80s and 90s hairstyles. Like, if people's hair can survive that, like, this is crazy for me. I use hairspray to, like, get the frizz down, not, like, bigger.
Welcome to the 80s, Neela. This is how it was. There's a lot
you wear very well.
Better.
Yes, and we stayed away from any open flames.
Yeah. Good tip. So, Will, I know you're very involved with your community and everything. So how are you kind of staying connected with family and friends and your community at this time of social distancing?
I think that, the world is so automated that we've got social media, we've got Facebook, we've got cell phones, we've got FaceTime, we've got Zoom, which is new to me today. So I think it's actually quite easy. And I couldn't imagine if let's just say that we went through COVID back 10 years ago, where you had an old cell phone with no camera, with limited data, and an unlimited plan. So maybe that is kind of a blessing in disguise.
Right. Good one. What about you, Jenny? You got, oh my goodness, Jenny, your hair. Do you have any questions for Will?
Yeah, Will, how did you get into hairdressing? How did that all happen, and how old were you when that happened?
Oh, good question.
Well, it's always been around, like my family. My mom's a stylist, so I've grew up around the industry. I've grew up in salons right from a child. I mean, it just seemed to be a very normal thing. I didn't think of it as anything really out of the norm. And at the time, we grew up out in Lamont, so I was playing some pretty competitive hockey, and in order to maintain that kind of, I guess, playing hockey like that, my mom made me become a shampoo boy at a shop. So that was a way, and I just realized at that point that it's a pretty cool job. I was on the rap program. I went to school from 9 till noon, and then from noon till 6 o'clock. Thursdays is 12 to 8. Saturdays is in the shop. So I was working like 6 days a week and going down like $1,200 to $1,500 in grade 10. So I was like, okay, this is a sweet job. I'm working with awesome people, and they love what I'm doing. I get to be creative, and as well, I get to dress how I want and create looks. So yeah, I haven't really looked back.
Be around the ladies.
Did you have a sweet ride with all that coin you were bringing in?
No, actually, I did not. I had my very first car was actually a 1981 Chrysler Cordoba. The only cool thing about it is it did have air shocks in the back. It was a 2-door. So, but then after that, I got what was a 1981 Chev, and that was a sweet truck. It had a good stereo. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say there was no awesome vehicles. My insurance was always ridiculously high because of all my speeding tickets. So
go figure. And they didn't have traffic cameras like they do nowadays. So they had to manually pull you over.
I just got one in the mail yesterday for $410.
Oh,
You know, you
Yeah.
think that the police would kind of like hold back right now and say, you know what, everyone, let's not give you high tickets, but they're out there like everywhere you
No,
go, there's speeding tickets.
Thank God it's photo radar, but yeah, I was going 100 through a 60 zone. So.
Ouch. So, Will, for those who don't know out there, you are an Inuit man that's from the Northwest Territories. A lot of people pronounce it Inuit. It's actually Inuit. And you tell us about what you're doing over there up in the territories.
So about 4 years ago, I went back to where we grew up in Inuvik, and I was doing hair at my friend's place in her kitchen actually, and I was listening to the CBC North, and this plea came on the radio mentioning, and it would go on probably daily, like 2-3 times a day, and I don't think it clicked in. Like maybe the last day, I was like, you know, I should probably check into this Norman Wells thing. So I got a hold of a very good friend of mine. She's like a surrogate mother, Nellie Cornway. She was the premier at the time of the territories. I asked her if she had any contacts in Norman Wells, and she made a phone call. Within 15 minutes later, she got back to me, and then 10 days later, I was back on a plane working there for 6 days. So I went through about 120 people in 6 days.
So there's a shortage, obviously, of hairstylists up there?
I think just because of the size of the community. I mean, Norman Wells is a very small community. It's about 700 people, and it's in the Sawtooth region. So you've got, your other small communities around there, but in the whole part, yeah, they don't really have enough to create full-time work for basically someone to be there full-time.
Right. So there's actually a really cool picture. CBC North did a whole article on Will, talking about hairdressing, what's going on right now, and how you can maintain some great styles, some trimming, and just kind of get through the next few months, or however long this will take during the quarantine, to at least have some nice hairstyles and not going too shaggy. But there's a phenomenal picture, I gotta say, and it's a picture of Will on top of this mountain cutting a woman's hair, and there's a helicopter there. So what, did you guys have to get like helivaced in there to do this? Like, tell me this story.
Okay, so there's a beautiful little place. It's called Carcajou Lake, and it's just outside of Norman Wells. So they take Northright, which is a plane company, and they take about 20 to 30 people on that plane. But as well, you can do the VIP fly and helicopter trip. So we opted for the VIP helicopter trip, and we were allowed one VIP stop. So we basically went to the summit, the highest peak of the territories. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm up here, I really got to do a haircut up here. So I did my buddy's hair, and I did his mom's bangs, and we stayed up there for a bit, but it was pretty cold. I think it was about minus 55. So.
Wow.
Oh, it wasn't cold at all.
I feel like that
Fingers
should
were
be
still
like a
working?
world.
Your
Pardon me?
fingers must have been freezing.
No, because I kind of had gloves on, and I think the excitement of being up there, and truly, like, as far as you could see, all you seen was valleys and peaks and mountaintops and snow and rock. It was very incredible.
What
That
an
sounds
opportunity.
like a world record, like the highest altitude, the lowest temperature haircut ever done.
I never even thought of it. It could be quite possible.
Ooh,
Wow, that would
that
have
would
been
be
just,
something to look into.
yeah, absolutely incredible. And I can imagine, just incredibly beautiful. So, Janny, do you have another question for Will?
Of course I do. So, since we've been in lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, have any funny things happened to you in the meantime?
Lots of funny things happen to me, Janny. I mean, on a daily basis. So, are we talking hair-wise? Are we talking, just like
Life in general.
Keep it clean.
Will doesn't get those bad hair days.
I don't know if like anything out of the norm. I mean, just going around and seeing some people when you're shopping, how they take it completely to the next level, where they're wrapped in, bubble wrap, or they're wrapped in garbage bags. And it's just weird, because I think at this point, like now it's starting to curve off. The curve is starting to ease up. But I think in the beginning of this, everyone looked at each other like you might have it. Like it was just a really strange time where we'd be like, "Yo, you step back, man. You might got that." But nobody actually said anything. We all looked at each other like we had something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. What about you, Neela? What do you have another question for Will?
Well, being happiness ambassador, I gotta ask, how are you staying positive right now?
I make a point of like, I've self-quarantined myself and my kids, but it just got to the point where, I'm constantly keeping in touch with them, or I'll go drive by and I'll go watch them ride their bikes, or we'll go for a walk. And it was like, I think truly that was probably my inspiration, and realizing that, this isn't that bad. A guy could be in jail. So, like when you
For
you
speeding?
well, that might happen. So I think like I've always been one that always looks at the positive of any situation, meaning we could always be in a worse situation. So that's always helped me fuel through maybe a moment where we all have those moments. But yeah, that just really helps maintain my positive mindset.
That's awesome.
Well,
So I got a question. Okay, let's just switch things up here a bit. So Neela, what do you do with your awesome hair that, like during this time, that's keeping you positive and keeping you moving forward? I'd like to hear all three of your opinions on that, ladies.
Well, actually, I was just going to say that Shauna actually had this great idea of, she calls it the Walking Dead. So we'll connect with a different friend each day of the week, and we'll go for a walk in our neighborhoods and just call each other, and just the time goes by so quick. It's like an hour that just flies by out of your day. You're getting outside, you're getting exercise, you're staying connected with friends. And I actually just yesterday, being that Wednesday was Earth Day, I thought, okay, I'm going to start taking a grocery bag with me and actually picking up garbage in my neighborhood. So I put on my little gloves and I just go around, and by the end of the hour, I've got a grocery bag full of garbage and I toss it out. And yeah, so that's how I'm
It's a
every
very
day.
empowering feeling when you, like, honestly, like through my neighborhood, I know what you're saying. I will pick up like litter, garbage, whatever it is. And we only have one Earth, and unfortunately, it's not just ours. We have to share with everybody.
That's right. Yeah, we got to respect our Mother Earth, right? Absolutely.
100%.
Johnny, you want to go
ladies,
next and answer?
Fire it up. Let's hear what you guys are doing with your days.
Well, I'm part of the group, the Walking Dead, and obviously because I'm a painter, I paint an awful lot, and well, right now I've been catching up on all the stuff that I was way behind.
Isn't that the truth, eh?
Yeah, she's got a lot of commission pieces she's got to do right now. So I think she actually planned this whole thing of having to be quarantined so she can catch up on her work.
Like to get some stuff done. You know, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
I'd love to hear that you're taking care of David.
Of course I am. Although he's in total withdrawals with no sports.
Oh, pumpkin, hey? Poor Dave.
I know.
Yeah,
Isn't
a lot of men
sad?
are like that right now.
What about you, Shauna?
For me, it's right now what I've been doing is I've been posting to on Facebook, letting people know that if right now a lot of people are cleaning out their homes. So I've been picking up donations and taking them to the different charities for people here in my community, as well as family and friends. So actually tomorrow, well, which would not be tomorrow in your land, but on Saturdays what I do is I go out and I take it all to different charities and take all the stuff out there. So that way people aren't throwing it away.
That's awesome.
And it's going to a good cause. Yeah. So
Very
Will,
nice.
now I have to ask you this question, and I think it's one that I'm sure at one point in time we've all done this. We've all kind of, maybe we shouldn't have. It was forbidden, but we've done it in a desperate need. We have bought in store brand hair dye. and we have dyed our hair with that. And an interesting fact is that Walmart in the fifth week of this quarantine ran out of hair dye in the States because people were just buying it by the bulk loads, making sure. So it was like toilet paper. So tell me, what is your opinion, Will, on store-bought hair dye?
You know, at the end of the day, I mean, as long as you're not really working with henna, henna contains metallic salts in it. So let's just say that you want to go back in and you went into a salon, and let's just say you're just using henna to stain your hair. Well, the process of henna, it actually has to grow out before we can go through it and color your hair, because it just does not grab on that. As for, like, honestly, store-bought color, I mean, if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. I mean, you know what, if the grays are bugging you, I've always said just don't try and stay away from black if you can, because literally drugstore black is almost, it's one of those things that are almost impossible to lift. Like, I could spend 2-3 sessions on that before I might even move it to dark brown. So,
Wow.
you know what, you got to do what you got to do. And I mean, store-bought color, like, really is the largest industry in the hair industry, aside from, you know, professional dyes. And I just recommend that if you are going to play with that, try and stick to, you know, maybe a semi or demi permanent. So it's not going to actually be a permanent color, because I mean, once it does come time to remove that, it does put a little bit of effort and work on my end. And, you know, don't get creative. I mean, this isn't a time to be going out and bleaching your hair, putting highlights in there. I mean, we're going to pass through this soon enough, you know. Hopefully we'll all be somewhat getting back to something a little bit more normal than what we are doing now. So hang in there. If you have to color it, what are you going to do, right? It's better than walking around with that Arctic blonde.
I love my Arctic blonde. Thank you very much.
Well, it absolutely suits you. We
I
haven't,
can
like,
tell you, I was a person that went from being a box color, and this is way before I ever met you, Will, so forgive me. And I was a redhead, and then I decided I wanted to have black hair. And you're right, it was the worst decision I ever made. It was horrible.
You just basically cut it short and grow it out.
Right.
Yep.
So, Will, you have a salon called Pure Chicksi. It's over on the West End in Edmonton. Do you still offer products for people to buy in stop-ins? Maybe some touch-ups, shampoo, hairsprays?
I think like, you know, definitely, I mean, on a product referral, absolutely. Like, if you guys want me to take a look and assess your hair and see what we need to do to, you know, whether it's a mask or a protein spray or even some lift, a boost, but, you know, like, little things to do for actual coverage. I mean, let's just say that you don't want to color your hair. You can always get a color concealer, and I can pick that up for you as well. But if you don't have that, and if you're looking for something quick, go into your makeup kit, go into your mascaras, take that brush, put it on your part line, it'll cover it up. So those are just little quick tips. I mean, if you're worried about not coloring your hair, you can always go with the headband. You can pull your hair up. There's just a few different options. And I mean, this is an opportunity for us to experiment with styling hair, have a little bit of fun. You know, that curl that you couldn't do before, pick up that art and practice that look. It's going to come around. I mean, you know, practice is a form of repetition. Repetition is a state of commitment. Commitment is a direct form to excellence, but excellence can only come from perfect practice.
Wow, well said.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of mine.
It's one of yours. So we're almost at an end. Can you believe it? Time just flies when we're having fun. So if you do want to check out Will, his salon is on the West End. It's called Pure Chicksi. He's on Instagram, and he also gave us his cell phone number. It's 780-995-5848. You can give him a shout. When this is all over, when quarantine's over and Will's taking in his clients again, make sure you call in advance, because Will's a very, very busy hairstylist. So you do want to give him a little bit of notice. He just doesn't do a fly by the moment. He's got a lot of clientele. He does phenomenal work, unlike what we're experiencing here today.
Oh, hang in there.
I
You're
feel
still
like
beautiful.
I'm gonna need a hair mask, Will.
I think I can help you out there, sweetheart.
All I got to tell you is it's been a great having you. Thank you so much, Will, for taking part in this. And the great thing about this is we call this Chit Chat, and Will's last name is Chicksi. So, I mean, what better guy to have on this Chit Chat with us? So, thank you so much, Will, for joining
Thank you,
us
ladies.
today.
You ladies
And,
are awesome.
Thank you, and stay safe.
You as well. Take care.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
girls.
Well,